All right, you get to see a full year walkthrough of the franchise Dynasty mode of NCAA 13. Starting off with USC, I wanted to see how it felt. I wanted to see how it just flowed through. The game pretty much is the same as last year. However, the recruiting is so much better, smoother, faster, stronger. So I decided instead of playing all these games, go ahead and simulate a few of them and actually see how this game was. So that way you know what you're getting into before you get into it. That way, if you need to set yourself up, like I didn't realize that at the beginning of the game, you get 20 minutes to scout everybody and get their ratings, overall ratings. But throughout the week, you only get 3 minutes to scout and 10 minutes to call people, which is a big deal. So it looks like the Hokies, Texas A&M, and Michigan, Wisconsin, and Georgia are automatic looking at Heisman watches at the beginning of the year, which is kind of cool. Cool championship contenders thing. They get a BCS rankings. Take a look at the rankings right now. Kind of cool little ESPN boom sniggles in your face right there, which is a little awkward. However, as we take a look, we're a little bit further along in the season, and USC is up top. Look on the Wisconsin and Washington. Wow, that's pretty decent. But you can see Barkley's doing pretty good there. We don't have any of the names yet, so we are waiting for someone to generate those so we can do all that stuff. Taking a look at a normal quarterback to see the difference between the two. And as you can see, it's pretty much the same game, folks. NCAA 12 has upgraded the... Oh, wow, look at that. Monty Ball. I know his name's Love there, but Monty Ball is that halfback. And, ooh, Michigan, look at these guys. That's silly. That is so silly. Wow, Nash. Oh, wow, I wonder who that is. Anyways, that's kind of cool. Going against number 3, Washington. It says number 2 there. Isn't that kind of funny? Anyways, this is the national championship game simulated by NCAA 13, the very first one ever done, and you get to see the Huskies are on top as national champions. I dropped all the way down to number 4. As you can see, that was not a good game. My team tried to come back in the 4th quarter by scoring 15 points. Still was not enough for Washington. They won the national championship. Who would have ever thought that? All right, so now you can put all your money down on it because NCAA 13 game says that's what's going to happen. But anyways, back to reality. Here's your offseason. This is what you've been waiting for. I wanted to give you a good overview of the complete Dynasty mode. As you can see, only a couple of teams are looking for coaches. It's kind of funny. I mean, I'd coach in Hawaii. Would you? I'd coach in Hawaii. Why not? Oh, wow. Imagine that. They actually kept the same coach. Gave him a little increase in pay. Hey, if you win a national championship, we might keep you. But you get a couple of declaring guys. Let's try and convince them to stay. Nothing new, but it's kind of cool. But we're losing. Oh my gosh, when you have USC, this is just kind of neat. I actually prefer to go after the smaller teams like UCF, USF, and build them up. It's really difficult recruiting, but this year's recruiting makes it a little easier, and I'll explain that to you later. But let's try and convince our starting tight end to stay with us. Very high chance of persuasion, which is pretty awesome. The better team you have, there we go, we kept them. The better the chance is at you persuading them to stay. Alright, so players are leaving. Pretty decent amount of time to simulate to the next part of that you want to do in the franchise or dynasty mode. But as you can see, we actually had a pretty decent amount of people get selected for the NFL. Kind of neat. I mean, why not? Why not create such a team? Wouldn't it be cool to like take one of the lowest teams ever and make them amazing? I wonder how long it would take. I wonder how long it would take to take one of the crappiest teams and just bump them up. I mean, just win every game known to man and see how far it takes you. Wouldn't that be awesome? Anyways, I got some people on my recruiting board already. That is actually pretty much from last year. I don't know why they showed you all that, but as you can see, we don't have any needs because we recruited everybody we needed. This is the guys we get stuck left with. You get to see their overall rating. There's really no menu that gives you that besides the stats, so it's kind of all the same too. I got some committed players, Florida, California, people like crazy committing to me right at the last second, freaking me out, making me nail biters. But here comes the recruiting that I've been wanting to show you. It's brand new. The way of doing things, but what I'm going to do is a little bit different because if you've seen some of my other videos, I've shown you like recruiting for players that you're actually going to get. But look at this guy, he's a gem. +10. 10. He was a 67 overall estimated person, but when you scout people in this game, it gives you all their ratings, and those ratings, if they're different than what was expected, they're increased to that position. Oh my god, it's just exciting to me. I love it. It's almost like doing an NFL draft now. Oh my gosh, look at the training. This is sick. This is just sick. This is progression. Man, it just feels nice when you got a muscle team to be able to do this kind of thing. I mean, this ain't common. I mean, you can't take like the little teams and do this. I mean, it's just really cool to see that kind of an improvement. But you can see our freshmen, they're all pretty decent. Got to get rid of a couple of them. As you can see, another gem right there, +8. Actually, no, he was the +10 guy, but when I changed him to safety, it changed his thing. But here we go. Actually going to be taking a look at probably I'm going to actually show you guys the top players that are available in this year's so-called draft that you could possibly recruit. You can still do the custom conferences and BCS bowl tie-ins, which is nice. I mean, there's no deeper mode in football game out there besides this. So this game by itself is absolutely amazing. The recruiting is so much better than it was last year, but everything else pretty much the same, and they're trying to catch up with Madden when it comes to gameplay. It's always cool to get a little bit of titles or trophies, make yourself feel better about yourself, although I consider trying to run a family or get a job or you know, listen to your boss, one of those things. Listen to, you know, do good in school. Those things are the ones that really, those are the real trophies. But you can create a prospect still, which is kind of cool. We could create Boom Sniggles, put them on UCF, and then skip my whole Road to Glory mode that I got going, and you guys be like, oh my god, how did you get that camera mode in regular Road to Glory? And I'd be like, never mind. Anyways, here's our brand new recruiting board. There are some new features you get to see. Look at the bust. Oh my gosh, -8. Did you see that? -8. Alright, here we go. You get to recruit up to, let's say, 35 people. So what I did is I took the top 35 people available, and not that they were interested in me, or some of them are, some of them are not. Are they interested in me? But you get to see Boom Sniggles. They are falling like flies. Folks, here's an athlete. This is what happens when you scout an athlete. You know, when you scout a lineman, you may get, actually I'm going to tell you that later. But an athlete, you don't know what positions really matter, so they're going to scout every single part of that guy. As you can see, this guy right here is probably a wide receiver. It's really cool seeing athletes. You know, as you can see, I just figured out, hey, why don't I go ahead and choose the top 35 instead of just doing random teams that like me? And let's see what's actually in this draft. So we got a ton of guys that are estimated at 80 plus or at 85, and now let's see how long they stand. It's like boo doo 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 boom. Ba-da-da-da-da, boom, Sniggles, he lost 2. Alright, they're falling like flies here. The top guys in this draft really aren't necessarily the top guys. You can get a guy who's a 67, now here it is, a lineman. A lineman, when you scout him with 60 minutes, he gives a full scouting report of that complete player, which is really nice, but oh my gosh, that's a bust. They're falling like flies. So if you're like a kind of a bad team, and you actually are stuck with those 60 or 70 overall guys for recruiting that are actually interested in your team, it's okay, because you can actually gain them all. Like a ton of guys can actually gain them through your recruiting and find out that they're gems. So I love that idea about this. Madden 2012 added that into their you know, software. I don't know how you'd want to call it, but it's kind of a cool thing. As you can see, we're still drafting. We're taking a look. They're falling like flies. All those 80 plus guys are falling like flies. Let's take the best guy available, and let's call him, let's scout him a full, actually we're only going to scout him 40 minutes. Why did I do that? Alright, he's 70% scouted. That's why they'll only let you scout him for the rest. Look at that, -8. If your guy's not fully scouted, they'll only let you scout him the max amount of minutes that it would take to scout him, so you're not going to lose any scouting minutes, which is nice. But did you see that? An 85 overall guy. I scouted him once, he stayed at 85. I scouted him the rest of the way, 40% of the way, and he dropped 7 or 8 overall. This is amazing. I love this part of the game. I want to thank you all so much for watching this walkthrough. We'll talk to you later. Please rate, comment, and subscribe, and we'll talk to you later. Peace.